Ok, 3, 2, 1, adelante.
I would like to welcome you all to the 32nd meeting of the Regional Forestry Commission for Latin America and the Caribbean, and the first virtual one. FAO appreciates the willingness of Jamaica to host the event.
Recording in progress.
I would like to inform you that translation in both English and Spanish is available through the icon below on your screen, saying interpretation. I would like you also to inform that during the moments of discussion and questions, you can raise your hand using the icon under the icon of reactions. The opening session can also be followed at YouTube. Estimados participantes, es un placer darles la bienvenida a la 32ª reunión de la Comisión Forestal.
Dear participants, I welcome you to the LACFC, and for the first time in a virtual format. We are grateful for Jamaica hosting this meeting. We would like to inform you that we're going to have this event in English and in Spanish. For simultaneous interpretation, please look at the world or the globe in the inferior part of your screen. If you want to participate, please raise your hand under reactions in the bottom right hand of your screens. The opening remarks are open for those of you that want to see it. In the opening today, we have the honor of having the presence of Mr. Pedro Sust, who is the president of COFLAC at this moment, Mr. Moreiro, who is a representative in Jamaica, and who will be representing the director of FAO for Latin America and the Caribbean, Mr. Julio Verdaguer, Mr. Meter Vilki, who is the director of the Forestry Division for FAO, and the Honorable Pernal Charles Jr., who is the Minister of Housing, Urban Renewal, Environment and Climate Change for Jamaica. Now we will hear the national anthem of Jamaica, and then the president of COFLAC or LACFC will provide us with some opening remarks.
We all light through countless hours, our leaders, great defender, run true wisdom from above, justice, truth, be yours forever, Jamaica, land we love, Jamaica, 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 land we love. Teach us true respect for all, the response to duty's call. Strengthen us, though weak, to cherish, give us vision. Send us, Heavenly Father, grant true wisdom from above. Justice, truth, be yours forever, Jamaica, land we love. Jamaica, 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 land we
Bien. En primer lugar, quiero saludarlos
Very
oficialmente
well, then, I would like to officially welcome you,
a todas
give
todos los
you
participantes,
the good mornings
a las
to each
autoridades,
and every one of those participating,
miembros
the FAO authorities and officers, the members of the entire organization, and particularly to those people from Jamaica who have organized this and hosted this meeting of LACFC. I would like to welcome FAO, Evie, Klaus,
también a Jorge Mesa, que
Peter.
ha estado
I would like to
con
remind that Jorge Mesa has always been with us,
Magdalena,
and the entire organization, Magdalena and Barbara, who have done an outstanding job. They have been able to save these difficulties, enormous difficulties that we've had, as we have had in other aspects of life, considering the pandemic has extremely affected the area and population. In any case, this tool, this link of FAO demonstrates its strength and the capacity to overcome all the challenges that this has presented. We have the opportunity to link ourselves with this event, and we know we have to continue ahead. We have major challenges ahead of us, climate change being one of these issues that we see on a daily basis, how it's hitting humanity and affecting humanity. And we know the value, and we also know the role that's played by the entire forestry industry and all the forests of the world to be able to mitigate and adapt to these contingencies that are so destructive for the entire humanity. We have therefore gone through a new period. We have been able to take on certain limited activities, logically, given the pandemic constraint. Some have been covered, but there's also been the possibility that this link we are maintaining a candle lit, and we are therefore involved in this enormous effort that FAO sets for us to continue ahead. So we'd like to thank all of those that have been with us, every person that has been involved in this task of leading LACFC. And in this aspect, I want to be thankful to my colleagues that have been involved in this organization. So we have had Madame Madeleine Hadley, who has participated with us, and a very warm, affectionate thanks to the willingness and the efforts implemented for the work that she has done and he has done, and Edwin Oliva from Guatemala, his efforts. I would like to thank him directly for these circumstances, and I would also like to thank publicly to each and every colleague at FAO that have been able to continue ahead with great success, everything that has been able to be achieved in the representation, whether it's COFO, in the fora for forests, and so on. And without extending my time, a major thanks to each and all of them. A great deal of success. You know that I have retired from the forestry industry in my country. You know that I continue to participate as the chairman and independently, but I would like to clarify that I am available to each and every one of you from Uruguay, although we have a forestry area with a great director as we have today. We also independently, you have a servant here for each and every one of you. At this moment, I would like to transfer the word to Mary Wilkie, who is the director of the Forestry Division for FAO, director of the Forestry Division for FAO.
Thank you so much, Pedro, and a very, very warm welcome to you all from Rome, from FAO. on behalf of all of the FAO and its staff. Let me start by saying thank you so much to Pedro Sust, who was an excellent chair of the last meeting we had of COFLAG, which took place in Uruguay. It was my great pleasure to be able to be there. And that was my first visit to Uruguay. I had actually hoped that this would be my first visit to Jamaica. Unfortunately, we are not able to meet in person. We will have to have a virtual event. But I really want to thank everybody who has made that possible. And try to see the positive part of that. Because we have a virtual event, we will be able to accommodate more people. As you can see from the list of participants, we have more than 90 people dialing in already, and I'm sure there will be more during the week. We have also made an effort to make sure that all of the senior staff in the forestry division will be with you, not necessarily all of the time in all of this week, but they will be with you throughout the week. They will make presentation. This is a great opportunity for them and for many of our technical specialists to engage with you, to hear your advice and your guidance to what FAO should do in order to help meet your expectations, address your issues, but also importantly to look at how we can use the issues that you're facing, the experience that you've had, the lessons that you have learned, how we can help bring them to bear in other settings, in other regions. There is so much to be learned from what's going on in Latin America and the Caribbean, and we really like to help to showcase that. And I think we are meeting at a very opportune time. We are still in the midst of the COVID-19, and our hearts go out to those who have lost dear ones and who continue to face severe issues with health, particularly due to this pandemic, and those who might have lost their jobs. But it's also a time where forests are very high on the agenda. We know the linkage between COVID and zoonotic diseases and how that is linked with forestry issues. We also know that this week, the IUCN World Conservation Congress is taking place. Just a couple of weeks from now, we have the UN Food System Summit, which again is linked very much to the issues that we are discussing on forest and how we can help promote a better, more efficient, more effective way of producing the food that we need without risking deforestation. So that's some of the things that are happening this autumn. We also have the big climate change convention, where again, forests are higher on the agenda. We have the first discussions of the Convention on Biological Diversity happening, with the negotiations being postponed till next year. And next year, of course, we have our own World Forestry Congress. So there are huge opportunities at the moment, a lot of emphasis, focus on forest, a lot of political will to actually make sure that we protect, manage, and restore the world's forest. So it is a very good and timely opportunity to also hear from all of you. What are the issues? What are the solutions that we can bring to help us build back better from COVID, but also at the same time, making sure that we deal with the climate crisis, the biodiversity crisis, the economic crisis that are following after COVID. And we can do that if we work together, if we put all our heads together. So I'm really excited about being with you all this week, and I will be with you at every single session this whole week to hear what you have to say, to hear your guidance to what FAO can do to help you, and to learn from you about new things that are happening that we can certainly make sure is also taken up at these big events at a raise to the policy level. We have a very exciting agenda with a number of very topical issues. We have prepared some background documentation for those, but we're really looking forward to an engaging discussion on that. So let me thank everybody who've been involved in making this happen, with a very special and strong and warm regards and thank you to our hosts of Jamaica. We are so sorry we can't be with you all, but we are there in spirit, and we look forward to this week to come. Thank you very much.
cement, or steel. Third, contributing to the protection of biodiversity that we very much need to protect, not only for its own value, but also to be able to face another threats equal to or worse than COVID-19. The fourth, protecting the water cycle. Millions of people depend on water from forest regions. Without water, there is no life. And the forest is crucial to climate change mitigation and adaptation. The initiatives developed within the framework of the United Nations Decade of the Ecosystem Restoration, which began this year and is coordinated globally by UNEP and FAO, should include the challenge of recovering the region from the pandemic. To meet the new challenge and better align its work with the Sustainable Development Goals, SDG, FAO has developed a new strategic framework to better meet the demands of its member countries, based in 4 principles: better production, better nutrition, better environment, and better life. One of the major challenges will be to increase agriculture productivity without deforestation, but to increase reforestation and to improve the livelihoods of population. Finally, I must mention the importance of articulating the efforts of the Latin American Caribbean Forestry Commission for the FAO Regional Conference, where ministers of agriculture and others will discuss the challenges and priorities related to food and agriculture to promote coherence in regional and global policies. This is the highest FAO governance body in the region and essential to ensure the efficiency of our work, as well as to define our priorities for the next biennium. The results of Latin American Caribbean Forestry Commission will be taken as input to the next conference from March 28th to May 1st, 2021 in Quito, Ecuador. May the discussion this week be engaging and fruitful as we work towards ecosystem restoration and the sustainable management of our forestry. Thank you. Over to you, Pedro.
Agradecemos mucho la palabra del representante del FAO para Jamaica. Y ahora cedemos la palabra al ministro de Vivienda, Renovación Urbana y Medio Ambiente y Cambio Climático de Jamaica, el señor Charles Kernel.
Thank you, President. Let me first acknowledge, my distinguished colleagues, everyone that is on the call, Mr. Souls, Ms. Wilkie, Sir Julio, and all that are joining us this morning here in Jamaica, and if you're in Rome and other places, I believe it's afternoon or evening. We certainly wish that you could be here in person. If there's one country that you would want to have a physical meeting in, it would be Jamaica. But as the host, despite the fact that you can't be here to enjoy the wonderful sun, we intend to make your experience as immersive and memorable as possible, even though we'll be doing it through the virtual conference space. Let me firstly say congratulations to the Food and Agriculture Organization and to the Latin American and Caribbean Forestry Commission on staging this conference, which is an important platform for us to discuss and analyze very critical regional forestry issues that will undoubtedly redound to the benefit of all our countries. Jamaica is pleased. We are honored to host the 32nd session, and our decision in this regard underscores not just our commitment to developing our local forest sector, but our commitment to the sustainable development of the forest sector regionally and globally. Forests in Jamaica are integrally linked with all facets of our society. Forests provide essential resources for development of many sectors, from health to education to recreation to our heritage, and so much more. We are the country that is defined as the land of wood and water. So it is a source of income as well for many rural communities in Jamaica, and a significant contributor to revenue earned at the local and national level from our tourism product. So you understand that forests are integral, and they're also integral to many of our world famous attractions, such as Dunn's River Falls, which I know at some point Miss Wilkie will come and visit. Integral to the rafting, and hence the Martha Brae and Rio Grande rivers. Where they run through our beautiful forest. Cycling in the Blue Mountains, you get a chance to enjoy Jamaica's forest, and of course, our coffee. These are just a few of the gems which attracts 1 million of our guests, even during COVID, and ordinarily we would have more than 4 million annually. So our forests are inextricably linked, Pedro, to our history and to our culture. They are a part of who we are as a people. It is our ties to the natural resource that has contributed to the identity that is Jamaican, and the resilience for which we are known. Much like nature, you know, we can take a beating, but we never give up. And in Jamaica, the way we call that, Julio, is that we are little, but we talawa, which means that we may be small, but we are strong and resilient. Being cognizant of the health, environmental, and socio-economic benefits of forests, the government of Jamaica, through the Forestry Department, led by Mr. Ainsley Henry and his hardworking team, has developed a national plan to work towards the sustainable management of forests and to guide the development of the industry. The National Forest Management and Conservation Plan, 2016 to 2026, 10 years, is the current 10-year blueprint for the sector. And Christina, the goal of which is to sustainably manage and utilize Jamaica's forests to enhance social and economic development, and also to contribute to the building of our country's climate resilience. The importance of recognizing climate change, and hence our personal and collective role in mitigating and adapting to the impacts, can never and should never be understated. The implementation of the plan is now at the mid-year mark. The Forestry Department has initiated a process of review to determine what we have achieved, what should be continued, and obviously what needs to be adjusted for us to ensure that the goals and the targets are not only met, but exceeded if we can. As a people, we strive for excellence. And as a ministry, we can but do no less. I am sure, however, that it comes at no surprise to you, friends, that as a developing nation for Jamaica, our greatest challenge since the completion of the plan has been to secure adequate funding to undertake all the actions, especially in the context of being a developing nation, and most recently, the reality of this global pandemic, which has impacted us all. Jamaica, however, remains resolute, and we are thankful that in 2018, the European Union, under its 11th European Development Fund, provided critical funding through a budget support program for our forest sector. The budget support program, valued at 14 million euro, provided very important assistance, much needed assistance, to implement aspects of the forest policy for Jamaica and our national forest management conservation plan. Now, the program that we have is defined as addressing environmental and climate change challenges through improved forest management for Jamaica. And it is set to end next year. And I'm proud to say it is on track to be a phenomenal success. The Forestry Department has so far met all annual targets outlined, and the local forest industry is gaining recognition and interest as a driver of growth and active participant as well in ensuring inclusive prosperity for our people here in Jamaica. The funding has allowed us to make significant advancements, Pedro, towards strengthening our forest-related legislation. The revised Forest Act, for instance, will not only have more teeth, but it will have stronger penalties for offenses that destroy and negatively impact our forest. It will also seek to ensure that our people are able to benefit from this tremendous resource while we protect this tremendous resource. I am proud to declare that my forestry department has reforested more than 300 hectares with at least 50% native tree species over the last 2 years. Now, this has without doubt strengthened our efforts to build our climate resilience, while also encouraging the increase of biodiversity within our forest and the wider environment. We have also made great strides in advancing work to protect our mangroves, which we know are so important, and our swamp forests, which are globally recognized for their importance in the fight against climate change. In 2019, the Forestry Department commenced a process of mapping and assessing the spatial distribution, composition, and health of our mangrove areas. What we found is that over 13,000 hectares of mangroves that we assessed provided information which is now being used to prepare a national mangrove management plan to ensure effective management of the ecosystem. Now, mangrove forests, Silvana, in Jamaica have been estimated to provide approximately $32.7 million in protection to our coastal areas. It is therefore obvious that these and other benefits provided by mangroves make protecting them not simply a desire, but an existential imperative. The restoration and securing of all remaining forests in Jamaica is also a major focus of this government. And this is why in 2019, our Prime Minister, the Most Honorable Andrew Holness, launched a national tree planting initiative. And it is in support of our nationally determined contributions toward the mitigation of climate change and in a bid to bolster our reforestation efforts so that we can increase forest cover and establish high value urban green spaces for all Jamaicans. And let me take the opportunity to just express apologies on behalf of our Prime Minister, who would like me to express his regrets, but also his full commitment to our efforts and to this collective effort for us to advance the promotion of protecting our forest locally and regionally. He would have wanted to be here today, but is unable to. Now, the initiative is aimed at planting 3 million trees over a 3-year period. And as at the beginning of September 2021, we have planted and distributed more than 730,000 seedlings. So we are on our way. COVID-19, like it has with every other country, has significantly impacted the implementation of the program. But thanks to the will and the spirit of the Jamaican people, through individual action and our public and private sectors, we are on track to achieve and even exceed our target. And importantly, we are not just planting trees, but we are planting seeds in the minds of our youngsters so they understand the importance of trees in their life. And they will grow up as the trees do to protect their environment. Finding creative ways to fund our environmental activities has been a major objective of my ministry. And so in June this year, we launched a green bond project titled Facilitating and Enabling Environment for the Caribbean Green Bond listing on the Jamaica Stock Exchange. The aim is to raise funds on the domestic and regional capital markets to finance the implementation of climate-related and environmentally sustainable activities. And this is where every country will have to go at some point. The areas to be targeted include forestry, protection of aquatic and terrestrial ecosystems, and sustainable water management. Carlos, this is a joint project between the Climate Change Division, which is in my ministry, the Ministry of Housing, Urban Renewal, Environment, and Climate Change. Yes, it's a very long name. And so a joint project between the Climate Change Division and the Jamaica Stock Exchange with the support of the Green Climate Fund. And it is expected to culminate in the listing of green, or what we can call also climate bonds, on the Jamaica Stock Exchange by mid-2022, targeting local, regional, and global investors. So if anyone from Rome wishes to get on board, we welcome him. Jamaica continues to step up our efforts to maximize and strengthen the capability of our forest as a key tool in our arsenal to tackle climate change. As a country, we have committed to reducing greenhouse gas emissions by 25.4% by 2030. We are, however, hopeful and in fact I'd say that we are sure that with international support, we will be able to achieve reductions of at least 28.5% by 2030. The forestry sector and industry is an important part of this effort. And so we continue to strengthen our capacity to do carbon stock monitoring to ensure that we are able to determine the volumes of carbon stored by our forest. This we do while we also continue to take tangible steps towards becoming REDD+ ready, so that we are able to secure financing for and through this important critical sector. As I close, my friends, Jamaica remains resolute in our commitment to sustainably manage our forest resources for the benefit of present and future generations. And we look forward to hearing from you and to sharing with all member countries over the next 6 days, so that together we can develop a regional forest industry that is better equipped to safeguard our people and our countries from the devastating impacts of climate change. I wish you well, I pray for your safety, and I thank you all for your contributions. All the best.
Muchas gracias, señor ministro de Vivienda.
Thank you very much, Minister of Housing.
Muy particular agradecer la expresión que usted
I
nos ha
would like to
brindado.
thank
Dijo que
very
estaba
particularly the expression that you have stated when you said that you are sowing the seeds of youth. This is going to generate what we all need in our countries, which is a forestry awareness
nuevamente,
and
señor
the awareness of conservation. Once again, thank you, Mr. Minister. Very well, now we will continue
Peter,
by offering the floor to Peter
agradecer sobre
so
la
that
transmisión.
we can thank the
This moment,
transmission. Thank you, Pedro.
opening session through YouTube will finalize, and I would like to thank everybody who has followed us there. Thank you all for your attention, looking at YouTube to following the opening session, and I can give back the word to Pedro for the election of the chair. Pedro, please go ahead.